Welcome to the From Concealment Podcast, the show for firearm enthusiasts who like to shoot, train, carry, and compete. Get ready for some shooting and sight, firearm and accessory reviews, and of course, insight on concealed carry. And now, broadcasting from behind enemy lines in the From Concealment studio, it's Pete Mitchell and Dan Sams.
Hey, Freedom Nation, this is Pete Mitchell.
And I'm Dan Sams.
Dr. Dan Sams.
Not yet. Got a long way to go.
What's a long way?
57 hours. 57 credit hours.
That's not so long.
Yeah. Well, it's 57 credit hours. But, yeah.
You're talking to a guy that took 10 years to get a 4-year degree. 57 credit hours is nothing, baby. Nothing.
Nice. That's awesome, man.
I was talking with a client, a financial planning client last week, and they were asking me something like, "Oh yeah, well, what should we do for college planning for our kids?" So I was talking to them about all the different options they got, and they go, "Where'd you go to college?" Or like the wife goes, "Where'd you go to college?" And the husband goes, "He didn't go to college. He's a salesman." I'm like, "That's close. It's not quite, but it's close. It took me 10 years to get a 4-year degree." In fact, I still remember. Okay, so I went to Biola. For those who know what Biola is, and so I went there from '93 to '98, 5 years.
Nice.
I was one Spanish class shy, and I refused to take it because I took it 5 times and I couldn't pass it. And I was like, I don't care anymore. I don't care. It's Spanish. I'm not gonna pass it. So 5 years later, my negotiation skills had improved. So I reached out to the university. I called the registrar. And I go, "Hey, this is kind of a funny call for me to make. My name is Pete Mitchell, and I used to go to school there, and I just kind of want to see what it takes for me to graduate." And she goes, "Hold on a second." I go, "Do you need my student number?" She goes, "No." She pauses. She goes, "Okay, I got your file right here." I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, every year one of you calls us." She had my file sitting on her desk for 5 years.
What?
Because I was one Spanish class shy. I'm like, "Look,
gosh.
I can't pass Spanish. I've taken it 5 times. I'm never going to pass it. What can I do?" And so she goes and she talks to whoever she's got to talk to. And they first it was like, "Oh, you got to take an upper division anthropology class." And I'm like, I am not spending $3,000 more to get this degree. I'm taking something at a JC. What do you want? So I go, "Okay, you can take this anthropology class over at Orange Coast College." And I go, "Perfect." I look up Orange Coast College. They got a TV version. I don't even have to go in. I can watch it on TV. Of course, I'm not going to watch it. So I literally order the tapes, rent the tapes, and I still don't watch the tapes. I went to 2 classes because the professor did like a midterm review, and then he did a final review. So the midterm review, this is a JC for you, right? He literally hands out photocopied notes that he's handwritten sample questions. Handwritten, like he hasn't even typed it. This dude's like 105 years old.
Oh my God.
So I get those and I figure out, what he's done is there's questions in the workbook and he's given us half the questions. I bet you I just need to know the answers to all of the questions in the workbook. And that's what it was. So literally all these kids are failing the midterm. I get a 98%. And so when I go in for the final prep, I'm like, you guys realize all he's doing is taking the questions in the book. Just study the questions and you'll get it.
Yeah.
2 classes, all I had to go to. 2 classes, substituted that sucker in. Petey's a college graduate.
Nice. When did this happen?
Well, that was 2003.
Nice. Oh, so we graduated the same year, man.
Did we?
We did.
I just started a little bit before
class
you.
Class of 03. That's awesome. Heck yeah, man.
It's so funny when I talk to friends from college, they're like, "Hey, you going to the reunion?" I go, I don't get invited to your reunion. They have it when you graduate, they have you sit by degree. right? And then they call you across the stage.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting with the communications majors, and this chick who's sitting next to me, she's never seen me, right? Because she's probably only been there 4 years, and it's been 5 years since I've been there. And she goes, "Oh, are you part of the BOLD program?" I'm like, "No, you idiot. We're sitting by degrees. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, you can't figure this out? I'm a comm major just like you."
Oh,
it was great.
That's awesome,
great.
man. Awesome. Good. Well, man, there's some big stuff going on. And I'll apologize to the Freedom Nation. I am in 2 classes in 2 weeks. It's jacked up the schedule. We haven't been able to be on here. I didn't know ahead because they keep changing my schedule. It's a big wreck. But next week we should be back into the normal schedule. So apologies. But we got news, man. There's stuff happening right now in the gun world. Not the least of which, just because it's near and dear to my heart, is the whole issue with the honey badger. Are you familiar? You following this, Pete?
Dude, I saw that the frickin' ATF all of a sudden arbitrarily goes, "Hey, by the way, that's not a pistol. That's a short barrel rifle."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So let me just give a brief synopsis really quick so everybody knows how much the ATF sucks. And then just understand whatever I tell you, they suck way worse than that. Like, anyway, so Q Honey Badger, some of you guys have heard me talking about it. It's just one of my favorite AR platform, firearms, just really cool, every little detail about it. It is effectively a 300 blackout AR pistol. It actually has an SB Tactical arm brace on it. SB Tactical has a letter from the ATF saying this is an arm brace, right? So like when Q Honey Badger is using it, it's not like this is some brand new proprietary thing the ATF has never seen before. This is something they already approve of. So Q has been distributing these things for years, not to mention lots of other AR pistols that fit all the same basic descriptions as far as like legally. I think we said something like 4 million Americans have guns similar to this, either the Q Honey Badger itself, supposedly, apparently related to the cease and desist letter, if I'm understanding this right. What the letter that came from the ATF that told them what they needed to cease and desist was vague enough that it could include something like 4 million American gun owners. And now that has to do with the vagueness of the letter. So here's Q.
Vagueness.
Yeah, here's Q, who's like, wow, we have always understood this was okay. So they reached out to the ATF and said, hey, tell us what we need to fix. By the way, what's his name from Q was on Colion Noir's podcast not long ago, kind of walking through all this. And he's like, hey, so we asked the ATF, what do we need to change? We'll stop production. We'll get this thing fixed, and we'll start producing it in a way that meets your specifications. They wouldn't give them any specifications. They wouldn't tell them specifically really what was wrong with the current configuration or what they needed to do to fix it. So what they said is, you make a new gun, send it to us, and then we'll tell you whether or not it's okay. Well, they're like, well, we're not going to do that for a whole lot of reasons, not the least of which is we've got a duty to our customers who might become felons right now, and we need to tell them why and what they might need to fix. So anyway, big mess there. The ATF is not being helpful at all. They've basically stopped communicating with Q at this point. So Q has decided to go public. Now we're into the lawsuit realm. All kinds of things are going on. But this is absolutely...
And then they put a cease and desist on their own. They put a stay on it for what it was till after the election. The ATF said, okay, well, we're going to pause our decree for 60 days.
Right.
Until after the election, they can see where the political winds are blowing.
It sucks so much.
That's the reason, too, why everyone who's like, oh, Trump's so 2A, he's so 2A. No, he's not.
Not at all.
He's the guy who got bump stocks banned.
Yeah.
He's the guy who banned my belt loop. I'm sorry, you can't do it.
So this is an example, though. I want to just bring everybody's attention to there is no law being broken here, right? Not to mention, even if there was, it would be an unconstitutional law that doesn't count. Like, and I'm serious about that. But even if there was a law being broken, they're trying to get it rectified. The ATF is not helping. The ATF is just kind of giving this broad, well, I don't think it's right. And this is absolutely a canary in the coal mine kind of situation. What's happening to Q right now is going to happen to every gun manufacturer, every gun owner in the near future, unless something changes. And so we need to take that very seriously. We need to be attentive and aware, be careful and cautious. But this is serious business.
Yeah, that's the reason why, like, it is 100% absurd how they've classified weapons. To say that a short barrel rifle is illegal without your tax stamp, but an AR pistol is legal, is complete bunk. An AR pistol is not a pistol. I mean, it is, because we say it is, but it's not. It's a short barrel rifle. It is.
You know.
But, like, they came up with the stupid rules, so of course we're going to find a way around them.
Yeah.
And now it's like this absurd, well, you know, if you have a shoulder brace on a pistol, well, that's now a short barrel rifle, and you better have, you know, a tax stamp. Like if you have those Ronies that have, it's not an arm brace, it's an actual shoulder brace on it, you got to have the $200 tax stamp. Like it's gotten ridiculous. Just get rid of the stupid ATF and the whole NFA's Act. Get rid of it. Gone. No problem.
Well, it's not constitutional, so it shouldn't count anyway. Yeah, I'm actually in the process of reading the Tuttle Twins to my kids. Are you familiar with Tuttle Twins? This libertarian guy writes this series of children's books that take them through various aspects of libertarian ideology. So the first one is on the law, and the kids go and talk to their neighbor who has a copy of Bastiat's The Law, and they're walking them through like how our law system works, and how if a law is immoral or unethical or unlawful, it's supposed to be thrown out. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. Recommend it for your children. So what else is going on, Pete? We got honey badger we got to worry about. What else?
Okay, a big one that, first of all, you guys should be ticked that the NRA abandoned California, because that's what they did, right? They just basically said, California's crazy. We're not going to spend our money there. Let them have their stupid laws. They abandoned California thinking that it's not going to infect the rest of the country, all of our crazy laws here. So this last couple of weeks, the state of California has decided to sue the ATF and get 80%ers made illegal for the entire nation. I'm telling you guys, you shouldn't have abandoned California. You have to fight these tyrannical dictators everywhere, because you give them a foothold, they're going to take advantage.
Yep.
But that's the biggie right now. We have to now fight for 80%ers, because if California gets this thing, you know, success, they're going to be illegal nationwide.
Yeah.
So in other words, stock up on your 80% lowers.
Heck yeah.
Stock up like crazy. Get your jigs. Get ready.
It's worth just noticing and bringing attention to the fact that the ATF, the ATF, of course, is wicked, but the NRA has abandoned all of us. So the Q, actually, related to our earlier conversation, my understanding is they were reaching out, trying to get help from the NRA. The NRA just abandoned them. The NRA only wants your money. They are a complete waste of any type of legislative action at this point. Wayne LaPierre is getting really, really rich on your money. Freaking pull out of the NRA. They have not gotten money from me in a long time, but they have gotten an earful every time they call and try to get me to rejoin. My support is going to the Firearms Policy Coalition, because they're actually doing something. Yep. I don't think anybody is quite doing what I would like for them to do, but the FPC is at least giving it a good doggone shot legally. The NRA is doing jack. If anything, they're supporting the enemy.
Here in California, CRPA, California Rifle and Pistol Association, they've been around since the 1800s. They are the ones who got us Freedom Week for our magazines. They're the ones right now that are getting this ammunition law overturned. They already got, the one judge to say it was unconstitutional. There's a stay on it currently as it goes to the full Ninth Circuit right now. I believe it's going to the full Ninth Circuit right now. I could be wrong on that. Now, the NRA did help finance some of those lawsuits, but it was absolutely the CRPA, their guys, their lawyers, their president, literally in court fighting for it. And I love those guys. Chuck Michelle, Michelle and Associates, man, those guys are great attorneys.
Cool, man.
One of the things that Lance Boland, we had him on the podcast when you were gone one week. Like, one of the things they came to him and they're like, hey, would you support us? Would you, tell your people, because you train a lot of people? And he's like, show me the money. I want to see where the money's going, who is it going to, then I'll decide if I'm going to support you. And he looked at all their financials and he was like, yeah, I don't have any problem supporting you guys. You're one of the few that are actually doing what you say you're doing. And they're the ones that actually fight for us. So in California, CRPA.
Cool. That's awesome. Well, I don't know. In Ohio, we've got Ohio Gun Rights, and they're doing some pretty good work. They tend to be on the right side of a lot of these things. It's good. It's interesting. It tells us something. The state level stuff matters. Don't think that everything is won or lost at the national level. In fact, I would argue that the things that we win or lose at the national level, we're first winning or losing at the state level. Yeah. And sometimes on certain things, that even regards, city and municipalities, and all these little laws get used as a precedent later on, and they set a trend to what's happening in your state, what's happening in the country at large. And
the precedent thing is really important. That's the reason why, if you have a gun case, do not take your brother, the lawyer, in with you. You need a real gun attorney.
Yeah.
Because when you get ruled against, that gets held against all of us, because now it's precedent.
Yep.
So you need a real gun attorney fighting for you, so the rest of us don't get screwed. And that might mean you need to have the insurance. Like, I have the carry insurance because, one, I live in California. So guarantee you, if I ever have to draw my gun, I'm going to jail, let alone have to shoot it in self-defense. I need attorneys who know how to fight this stuff.
Yep.
So
right on, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So what a world we're in. So you don't do anything related to training then, since some of these things might become serious in a whole different kind of way.
Well, it's fun. Yeah, I've been doing some training last week. In fact, I'll share a quick little non-training story. My one of my oldest friends, definitely my most liberal friend, like, by far. But he and I have great conversations. We're really good friends because we actually discuss the issues. He respects where I stand. I respect where he stands. It's not like I say he's an idiot and he says I'm an idiot. Like, we respect each other. He's an idiot, but I don't tell him that. I disagree with his position.
There you go. You're so kind, Pete. You're a good guy.
Because he's one of the smartest guys I know. It's just
exactly.
But I understand where he's coming from. I just don't agree with how he ended up at his result.
Right on.
And I also think that we're alike in a lot more ways too. Like, I think if I actually loved Trump and was like a Trump supporter, then we would probably have more issues. But I'm like, I actually don't like Trump. So, I'm not going to vote for Biden. Like, I'm not a Biden guy. It's like, I can't do it. But anyway, we went on Saturday and bought his first gun.
Oh, what a beautiful thing.
It really was, because he was like, look, I really want to have it by election, because he lives in Long Beach, like near where it went off this last time. And and I'm like, dude, okay, I called around. I found one guy. He's got a small hole in the wall place. For those of you who know, like my buddy Keith, who listens to the podcast, thanks for letting me know about Witten, because that's where I took him. And we were able to get him a great 9mm. And of course, the downside to that, here in California, we can't buy ammo without a background check. So you can, as you're getting your firearm, it doesn't matter if it's PPT or, dealer sale, Everything in California goes through a dealer. You have a background check, 10-day wait. There are no private party transactions in California. So you can buy ammo at the same time because you just use the same background check. So I'm like, hey, can he get some 9mm ammo as well? And the guy's like, nope. He goes, if you can find some 9mm ammo, have it shipped here, we'll add it to this because, we got 10 days till it's over. He goes, but we can't get any 9mm ammo. Man. There's no 9mm ammo in California right now. Man. So that's the downside. So, yeah, I have been doing some training, Dan, but I got to be honest, I haven't been going as much because I'm like, dude,
yeah, I
got to be sparse here with the ammo.
Yeah, dude. Oh, I'm not shooting anything in the 223, 5.56 range. That's zero. I'm holding on to what I got because I'm like, this might save my life. Like I gotta keep this. I'm doing a little bit of just getting out with the 22 and doing a little bit. And then I tell you what, man, I'm doing dry fire practice, man. Yeah. I've been doing ready ups, all that kind of stuff in the house. Like I'll find a time when there's nobody in the house and I'll make sure everything's cleared out. And I put on my chest rig. I'm practicing reloading. I'm practicing ready ups, which especially with the sight I have, ready ups, being able to just practice all right. So I'm looking and I'm doing the C clamp on the AR, C clamp hold, man, and just practicing pulling that hand up, pointing at whatever it is I'm going to aim at, see if my sight is brought on. That stuff's helping because it's any kind of training we can get in right now without expending ammo, we're going to do. And then I've done a little bit with the 22, man. It's still getting some basic practice in. It's obviously not the same as doing it with my real stuff.
Yeah. Last week I did, with Michael Hernandez over there at FT3, we did one-handed training. Most of it was with support hand. And so that was just good because no one ever really does support hand. I mean, we all do some, but we don't do enough by far. Yeah. So it was good to get in some good training that way. I didn't get a chance to go to this, but my buddy Chris did. Fast OC, Lance Boland's company, we've had both these guys on the show. He had a training on Saturday. I believe it was a 4-hour training, and it was all from the seated position. Ooh. And so what he was showing is he goes, hey, guys, and I got the email from him. He's like, hey, if you've seen me go through that latest Texas shooting, the church shooting, he goes, you see one of the guys who has to stand to draw his firearm, and it costs him his life. Mm. He goes, if he would have stayed seated, he would have been a smaller target. He wouldn't have drawn any attention to him, and he probably would have been able to take out that guy. Yeah. And so that's what we're going to be training on. So I wish I could have gone to that. It sounded awesome because everything they did was from the seated position.
So I'm assuming, is that appendix carry or 3 o'clock position carry so that you can still draw?
I would imagine you're supposed to carry wherever you carry. You got to learn how to draw. If you carry in the 4 o'clock, you got to learn how to draw from the seated position in the 4 o'clock. If you're wearing a coat, a blazer, you need to learn, how do I get to my firearm? Because I remember watching that video going, I think he can't get to his firearm because of his coat. You got to practice that stuff.
It's heartbreaking, dude. Man,
that's actually the reason that, even though, my whole goal in losing all the weight that I lost was because I wanted to appendix carry. Mm-hmm. And at this point, it's but every time I train in the 3 o'clock position.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of I don't know that I really want to train or switch positions at this point.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would. I thought, because you're not gaining that much to go from 3 o'clock to appendix. I switched from 4 o'clock to appendix about a year or two ago, and I'm glad I did because that's a big difference.
That's
right?
A big difference.
It's a really big difference. And I carry a nice thin conceal gun that makes it really, really easy to draw. No problem. That's good. But man, for you, when you're training as much as you are, and you're doing you're doing the races, man, you're doing so much at the 3 o'clock position, man. I wouldn't want to give up the speed you've got at that to relearn appendix, man. I think you're making a good decision keeping it there.
Yeah. Biggest thing that you got to train on, from most of the training that I do, and definitely competition that I do, because I don't really do IDPA. I think IDPA, you're covering up, right? It's from concealed position.
Yeah.
You do have to get used to, okay, I always wear a shirt untucked, basically a T-shirt. So you have to, grab the bottom of your shirt and then pull it up, and then you're holding that against your chest as you go for your gun. It's not like this whole, I'm going to put my thumb underneath the shirt, go up, grab the firearm, pull it out. I think you get snagged on so many different things on your way to do that. So you do have to train, getting the shirt. The best way, like you said, dry fire around the house. Or the other thing that I use around the house is I've got my cert, which is a Glock 17, and I carry a 19, so it's pretty close. Definitely the same grip angle, all that. And I can use my same holsters. So I literally just use my Glock holster, and I practice with that. Practice drawing, practice all of that.
Right on, man. It's good. Well, because I think so many people think, oh, it's just my shirt. It's just like you don't think through how your movements have to be definitive. They have to be the same every time. And something like a shirt that seems like not a big deal actually is when we're talking about fractions of a second that matter. And so that whole pulling up with one hand and pull out with the other, you got to practice that like crazy. So good stuff, man.
You do. Yeah. You got to practice everything over and over again. Can't just do it once. This last week, I finally got around to changing the batteries on my red dots. You're supposed to do it every year. I think it's been 2 years, and I was like, dude, I am so pushing it.
Yeah.
So I finally, I got the old RMR style, not the SRO, but the actual RMR. So you got to physically take it off, take the battery out, put it back on, Loctite it on.
Yeah.
But so.
Yeah, which when it's a pain like that, you hate to take it off. And
that's the reason why it took me so long, right? Because it's like, now I got to go recite it, make sure everything's still on, all that stuff. But
No,
but now I'm good. So. I'm good for at least a year. Knowing me, 2 years.
Probably so. That's the other thing, is that it's probably going to last longer than you expect, depending on how much you use it. But
well, the problem with RMRs, they don't turn off. So it's not really how much you use it. It's until the battery goes dead.
Yep.
I mean, it just is.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
A lot of my, I got on my ARs, I've got SIGs. I think it's the Romeo 5. And I got it because I really liked it. Like, I got it one time and it was like $150. It's a red dot. Really liked it. Ended up buying one for like all of my ARs. And the nice thing about it is if the gun hasn't moved in so long, and I don't know how long it is, it automatically turns it off. And then the second there's any vibration, it automatically turns it on. So I've never looked down the sight and not seen the red dot. Like, it's always like every time you need it, it's on. But the battery does last longer because of that.
Yeah.
Because it's turning off.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's nice.
Yeah. Who is it you said makes that? Is that the Hollow?
I think it's SIG. I think SIG makes the Romeo 5.
Holosun makes one that does the same kind of thing. And it's funny, I
do have the Holosun one as well. Because if there's a gun toy, I'm probably going to buy it.
Exactly. Well, and so the reason why you were talking about how much we use it, even with the RMRs for the pistol, I forget, like I think of, that's what the RMRs do. Well, they're not all like that. They don't all come on. Like, when you move them, a lot of them, they're just on. Yeah. So
the Holosun one, it's got a battery and it's got solar.
Oh yeah.
And I believe it turns off. They say it'll last for 10 years before you got to change the battery.
That's awesome.
Because it turns off when it's not being used, and then the solar, it uses that whenever there's light. So I do like that one. It's got 3 options. It's got circle, it's got dot, and it's got circle dot. So the nice thing about the circle dot is if you're quickly trying to get on target, like, you can start to see, okay, the circle is, breaking first over your target, and then the dot is right on it. So you can actually be a little bit quicker with it.
Oh yeah.
I've got that on my my Glock 17, and I do really like it. It's a good sight.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Cool, brother. I like it. Heck yeah. Well, good stuff, man. Well, I know you're limited on time today because you've got a couple of things, and that's my fault because I'm late coming out of this class today. But I think it would be worth just bringing some attention to the fact that the election is coming up. Neither of the candidates that are prominent are particularly pro-gun. One is less anti-gun than the other. So we want to be attentive to that. But if we're just watching anything, I hate watching the news. Like, it just makes me mad. I feel like I'm being deceived. Like, I listen to some of these things and I'm like, whew, you can just note the way that certain language is used referring to certain things to just throw shade on it like crazy. But what we're seeing is that there are a lot of liberals making some real strong comments about what they're going to do if the election doesn't go their way. So if there's ever a time to just be prepped, guys, like, hopefully this is the chillest election ever, but I don't think that's going to be the case. And so
if Trump wins, if he actually pulls it off, I don't know what's going to happen to this country. Because we already saw BLM and Antifa this last summer. Yeah. What are they going to do if he wins?
Well, and then you have that with the coronavirus is supposedly getting bad again, right? Infection rate is up. I'm like, is the death rate up? Because if the infection rate is up and death rate isn't up, then that's good news, right? People don't seem to care. We've got that going on. They keep finding ballots. Man, our ballots just came. And I mean, there's some weird situation that we're all delayed for your city. Our city tends to be a little bit more Republican than Democrat, as I understand. So it's just stuff like that I'm like, they're finding ballots in the trash. Like, I am expecting that no matter who wins, no one is going to say that it's a legitimate election.
That's very true. Very true.
That's put us in a whole different spot these days. So that means no matter what happens, somebody is going to say this isn't legit. And once you've said that, man, all bets are off. How people react and so it's a wild card, everybody. So you need to be prepared. I'm not expecting riots everywhere. I'm expecting riots in some places, though. So get yourself prepped. Your dude in Huntington Beach, he is wise to stay strapped or get clapped.
He did make a wise choice. He's not in Huntington Beach. Huntington Beach would be Republican town.
Oh, no,
I said Beach.
I said Huntington. I'm at Long Beach. I'm sorry.
He's in the hood.
I said Huntington Beach. I'm in Long Beach. I'm sorry.
Completely. People who don't know the area, they'd be like, okay, it sounds the same. No, completely
not
different.
The same at all.
Huntington Beach, good area. Long Beach, well, it's Long Beach. It's got good, it's got bad, it's got it all.
Yep. Party on, man. Anyway, just keeping everybody informed. I know next week we'll be able to have a longer show, get into some of the topics in a little bit more detail. But Pete, thanks for being flexible. Thanks to Freedom Nation. And we'll see everybody next week.
Well, why don't you give Lake Erie their plug? Yeah,
actually, you know what? As always, we're trying to roll out new classes at Lake Erie Arms, and the classes are staying pretty full. So check out learms.net. As always, you can sign up for one of our classes, and you got to be here to take the class. But you can sign up for one of the classes, of course, online. Also, we got a whole crap ton of free video subscriptions related to concealed carry stuff, related to AR builds, related to first-time gun buyers, female gun buyers. It's great stuff, and we have people signing up for those literally every day. So it's popular. It's great content. The word's gotten out. I'm biased because I helped develop that content, but it is freaking awesome, and it's free. So
you're almost a doctor, so it's got to be good.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. Then we could be like 1 out of 1 doctors recommend Lake Erie Arms.
You could be like 100% of the doctors we interviewed recommend Lake Erie Arms training.
That's right. Doesn't he have a doctor of theology? Yeah. Yeah. All the more reason you should listen. He knows what God thinks about it.
When the doctor of theology says you got good training, I think you got to listen to that.
Yep. All right. So anyway, everybody check out learms.net. And of course, come on into the store because we got some exciting stuff. I'm not allowed to tell details about this, so we'll say this really quick and no details. But if you look ahead to buying guns for yourself for Christmas, because you can't buy them for somebody else because that would be a straw sale. But if you're going to buy guns for yourself for Christmas, there is a good chance that there might be some special non-tangible things that you can get with it as a special deal. I can't give any details. Like, let's just say it's going to be a great time to buy a gun very, very soon. It's already a good time to buy a gun, but here, Christmas time coming, you're going to want to buy some special stuff. Anyway, that's what I got for you today.
All right, guys, we'll talk to you all later. Take care, everybody. Stay strapped or get clapped.
Amen.
You've been listening to the From Concealment Podcast with Pete Mitchell and Dan Sams. Be sure to tune in next week for more gun talk. Also, check out the From Concealment website for more shooting-related goodness at FromConcealment.com.